and the ESPN app. Our coverage begins Monday Night Countdown at 6. All right, now time for FanDuel Sportsbook Same Game Parlay. Swagoo, I need some money. I need some Marcus Spears type money. Let's answer these 3 questions to make those people that Marcus Spears money. Let's start with this. Will Joe Burrow pass for over 250 yards on Sunday against the Steelers?
I don't believe so, Phil. I think he'll be under 250 yards. Not in a bad way.
Okay.
No Mixon is going to have to carry some of this load out of the backfield. Joe Burrow will be up 200, but under 250.
Okay. How about Justin Fields, whose rushing prop goes up every week? Will he be up over 70 yards this week?
I got to give him over. Look, man, he might have this in 1 carry based on what we've been watching the last few weeks with Justin Fields being implemented into this run game. And this is the way that the Chicago Bears are explosive offensively and score points. So I'm sure Luke gets it. The offensive coordinator is going to dial up some plays for his legs and expect to see a big one.
He's looking to become the first quarterback ever with back-to-back 100-plus yard rushing games. Final one here, Swagoo. Will A.J. Brown have over 70 receiving yards?
Yeah, A.J. Brown will go over. Last week we saw the Philadelphia Eagles lose. That's number 1. 2, we didn't see A.J. Brown have his dominant performance that he usually have. So this week, they're in trouble against A.J. Brown, babyface.
Right,
he will be over 70 yards.
My wife is already looking for a huge Christmas gift, Swagoo. So I'm going to put the funds we add this weekend to that cause. You've heard our pick.
Yes, sir.
Now you can use those or make your own to build a same-game parlay with FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. All right, time now for some Read and React. And can you recall that the XFL is back in February of 2023, and the draft was this week. So notable former players have been assigned their new teams. Since quarterback's are the most important position, they were pre-selected by the league, which includes former Cowboys quarterback Ben DiNucci going to the Seattle Sea Dragons, and former Bengals and Texans quarterback A.J. McCarron, who works with us now at ESPN, going to the St. Louis Battlehawks. Can't wait for this. Always love to have more football come late winter and early spring. Now we go to the Bears and the Falcons. These two teams have very similar offenses this season. They actually rank first and second in design rush percentage and both rank top 6 in the league in terms of usage of play action. Their quarterbacks outside the pocket most specifically. So, Mina, we turn to you on this one. Which offense do you think prevails here on Sunday?
Oh my God, this is so hard to choose. Not just because both of these offenses have looked good, especially on the ground, but because both of these defenses are terrible, and terrible in particular at stopping the run. Look, Marcus is dead on about Justin Fields and his rushing ability. I was going to say he runs faster than an actual Bear, but I looked it up and Bears run 30 miles per hour, which, shout out Bears, I didn't recognize your game. But I actually am leaning Falcons in this one just because the Bears defense has traded away so many players. They can't stop anything right now. I think they'll have success on the ground too.
Bears are like 800 pounds. How do they run 30 miles an hour? Let's go to New England as the Jets travel to Foxborough to face the Patriots. No two quarterbacks have struggled under pressure quite like Zach and Mac this season. They not only have the lowest QBRs under pressure in the NFL this season, but are among 3 lowest out of 312 quarterback seasons in the last 10 years, ahead of only Brandon Weeden back in 2013. The last time these two teams met, Zach Wilson went 1 for 14 and threw 3 picks when under duress. RC, what is Wilson facing in this Patriots pass rush?
Well, I tell you what, he going to be under duress again this game because Matthew Judon, leads the league in sacks. I think he's second in pressures to Michael Parsons, and nobody talks about him. Mina has affectionately named him Red Sleeves. Well, he needs to start carrying red balloons because he is terrorizing backfields like Pennywise was terrorizing them little kids when he knew he didn't have no business sticking them big old teeth out of the sewer. Matthew Judon is absolutely going crazy this year. We have to recognize that, and if Zach Wilson thought he was under pressure the first time, he better watch out for Matthew Judon because he's coming again.
So every week, RC, the analogy starts. I know I got to stick with it and ride the wave. And by the end of the analogy, I get it. I pick up what you are putting down. You
make all the sense in the world.
All right, let's stay on that game. These two teams playing for the second time in 3 games, both of them coming off of their bye. We'll pick it. Swagoo, you are first.
I'm taking the Jets 20-17. I believe Zach Wilson will take care of the football. I think this Jets defense may turn the football over. So yes, I got the Jets. And Mina, Bears are the first original BMBs. So just to let you know, athleticism is not one of our weak points.
Oh, man. This is a really hard game because I think it's going to come down to which quarterback turns the ball over, and that's why I'm going with the Patriots. Because if Matthew Judon is Pennywise, Bill Belichick is the guy in Saw who sets up horrible torture chambers for people, you know he's going to put Zach Wilson in hell in this game. He's going to do some diabolical stuff on the back end. That's why I'm going with New England.
You know what? I'm going to go with the Jets because when I look back at that game, it wasn't that Bill Belichick was doing anything diabolical. It was that Zach Wilson was doing things that were stupid. And so if he makes the smart decision, especially late in the down, if he learns when to give it up, if he takes the football and coddles it like a little baby, like Russ does after he dunks on somebody, I think this team could win. Look at what he did against the Buffalo Bills the following week after the New England Patriots game. That should be his blueprint. Let this defense ball run the football and protect it as well.
You know, it's not often that we have a game that is evenly split here on NFL Live. Yeah. So I am here to make that happen. Give me the Patriots 23-17.
This is a good thing.
Which I think might have been the exact same score when they won the last time. So very original and creative pick there by me. But can't wait. Both of these teams enter the game over 500. The entire AFC East is up over 500. This division, very, very competitive. And speaking of this division, by the way, we're not done here on NFL Live, as should the Bills swap offensive identities with the Browns? Mina and Marcus did. Now she's telling them of the top fantasy football storylines to keep an eye on this week. Cooper Kupp out. He is now on IR for the Rams. That offense is downright anemic without him, but can anybody step up? Will it be Allen Robinson finally? Will it be Ben Skoranek, who has been playing this hybrid, unique role for the Rams? Could Van Jefferson get on track? To be candid, I'm not totally confident in any of them. Tough times right now for the Los Angeles Rams offense, but Matthew Stafford is off the injury report. He will play. Look at all the wide receivers on a bye this week. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Christian Kirk, Tyler Lockett, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, and Chris Godwin. I am starting Keyshawn Johnson in a league this week, and if you think I'm kidding, I am not. But more seriously, a couple of names to keep an eye on include Kadarius Toney, Donovan Peoples-Jones, available in a bunch of leagues right now. Go grab him off the waiver wire if you can. And Jonathan Taylor looked like himself this past weekend against the Raiders. Colts offensive line played much better football. Jonathan Taylor is healthy. He had a 66-yard touchdown run in which he was untouched. As we all know, the Eagles' run defense has been a problem of late. That's why they signed Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph. Can Jonathan Taylor stay hot? And can the Colts hang tight against this Eagles team that, again, one of the best in the NFL? Weather not a concern in Indianapolis, but look at the scene in Buffalo this morning. How about this? Highmark Stadium under a couple of feet of snow as a massive lake effect storm has moved the Browns-Bills game to Detroit. The Bills canceled practice today. They've met virtually. Coach Sean McDermott said travel plans are still to be determined as they are keeping safety and family as their top priorities. Also important to the Bills this weekend is keeping the football in their own hands, as they need to figure out why Josh Allen has been off track recently. He leads the NFL in interceptions this season. He has 10. 6 of those picks have come on off-target throws, meaning Allen either under or overthrew his receiver. 3 of them have come in the red zone, which is also tied for most in the league. He's now thrown multiple interceptions in each of his past 3 games. That's the longest streak of his career. Here's what he said earlier this week about the turnovers.
Again, I'm just trying to make the best play, and sometimes that's the best play for our team. And it's that constant. I can make a play, or I can trust somebody else to make a play that I've battled with my entire football career, and trying to do too much sometimes, and it'll hurt you. So again, just playing quarterback the right way and the smart way, and again allowing our guys to make plays in space and not always trying to force the ball downfield, and just getting back to that.
Swaggy, what do you want to see from Josh Allen this Sunday?
Well, we're going to stick in the theme of babyface. And listen, when my wife and I came home, all right, our doctor told us it's things you need to do. One, when the baby starts crying, you need to check the diaper, okay? Check the diaper. If the diaper is dirty, clean the diaper. The second thing you need to do is make sure they're not hungry, all right? So make sure you got the milk ready and make sure the baby is not hungry. If the baby is not hungry and the baby is clean, the next thing you got to do is you got to swaddle that baby.
Yeah.
You got to swaddle that baby so that baby goes goes to sleep and they can't move and they can't scratch themselves in the eye. That's how Josh Allen got to approach taking care of this damn football. He got to go through the proper steps every single play where his mind starts to venture in becoming Superman. And he say, all I got to do is take care of the baby. The baby is clean. The baby is fed. The baby is swaddled. So that's how Josh Allen got to go through the process when he's in these plays, man. Because at times, it's as simple as this. Settle the baby down. The baby is crying. The baby's going haywire. Once you go through that 3-point checklist, if the baby's still crying, Josh Allen, it ain't your fault. It's the coach's fault. It's Ken Dorsey's fault. It's the players around you fault. But you got to take care of that baby, Josh Allen. Get to it this week. That's the only way the Cleveland Browns got a chance to win is if Josh Allen don't take care of that baby.
Oh, my gosh.
Now I just can't stop thinking about Josh Allen throwing a baby like 70 yards. Okay. Back on track. Okay, so here's the thing. The second this game got moved to a dome, you knew the Bills had an advantage because it makes it a lot easier for them to, of course, attack the Browns through the air. They're perfectly capable of doing that. They shouldn't have any trouble doing it. That said, I would really like to see them run the ball with some success in this game. I'm not saying they should lean on a run-heavy game plan. I just want to see it because if you can't run on this Browns defense, you are in trouble, okay, based on what we've seen so far from Cleveland. I mean, y'all, that front seven, and we've seen this in recent weeks with the Browns, they're like a phone where the password is 1, 2, 3, 4. They are not stopping anyone. So if I'm Buffalo, I want to see Devin Singletary making the most out of Lightbox. I want to see more Nyheim Hines, who they barely use. I just want to see that they can do it, just because this should be a litmus test.
RC, I'm going to ask you a question and then change my password. Apparently not exactly safe. On the other side of the ball, can the Bills' defense stop the Browns' running game, which is very good itself?
Well, here's what I know. If their passcode is 1, 2, 3, 4, that means they living right because they ain't trying to hide nothing. And on the other side of that, when you think about what you're going to get, from this Cleveland Browns offense, it's not tricky, right? The Cleveland Browns aren't trying to show you something, then pull it back and play peekaboo. They want to run the football. They want to get it in Nick Chubb's hand. They want to get it in Kareem Hunt's hand. And so if you're the Buffalo Bills, you have to say to yourself, Tremaine Edmonds, you have to say Matt Milano, you have to tell your front, you're going to be tasked with stopping the run. And on the outside, we'll play the pass, whether it's Amari Cooper or Donovan Peoples-Jones, and make Jacoby Brissett beat you. Listen, this is a top 10 run defense. This is the top 10 defense overall, and they understand this. You are going to score points offensively. Hopefully, you score enough points to where they can't run the ball. But initially, you have to stack that box, make Kevin Stefanski go to something else other than putting the football in Nick Chubb's hands. We saw it last week versus the Miami Dolphins. They literally ran and threw the Cleveland Browns out of being able to do what they love to do. I think the Buffalo Bills would take a very similar approach.
Man. By the way, we're all picking the Bills in this game. I'm still thinking about Marcus's baby analogy. I've got a 10-month-old. I could use some more advice. Swagoo, you're welcome to come over and help out with Miss Kinley.
Would you trust Josh Allen?
I got you.
Hey, babyface, what they tell you is sometimes don't none of that work.
Okay, yeah, I've learned that part the hard way.
There and pray.
We're all picking the Bills, by the way. Hey, coming up, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs look to open up a 3-game lead in their division. Here, if Swagoo thinks the Chargers even stand a chance.
And after this is the Lions. You think about everything that we've seen from Saquon Barkley throughout the season and everything that we've seen from the Detroit Lions defense, this looked like something that's tailor-made for him to go absolutely crazy. And so I'm excited to watch this as it goes forward.
Yeah, RC, I'm going to stay on the ground as well, but I want to see what this Panthers defense can do with this Ravens run game. And it's not about power. It's about eye discipline. It's about making sure that you're taking care of all points of contact. You got to be stout in the center of the line of scrimmage, but you also got to have edges taken care of. And on top of that, getting Lamar Jackson on the ground. So this front seven is going to have their hands full from a technique, a priority standpoint, and then the physicality at the line of scrimmage.
Run defense is really the theme of the week here on NFL Live. The theme of the segment and the theme of what I want to watch in the Colts against the Eagles. Y'all, we know Jeff Saturday, our former colleague, wants to do run the damn ball. We also know that the Eagles have struggled with him, which is why they went out and signed Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh. Joseph, I imagine, will be an active participant in this game, so I want to see if he can shore up that Eagles run defense, especially against a Colts a Colts offensive line that blocked well on the inside last week.
We have our first game of the season that has been flexed, as the Chiefs and Chargers will now battle in primetime on Sunday night. That, of course, means two of the best young quarterbacks on the game will be on display. Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs travel to L.A. to face Justin Herbert, and the Chargers. Here's Mahomes on Justin Herbert.
He throws some passes that I don't think anyone can throw in this league, and that includes myself. I mean, he has a cannon for an arm. You watch it. I watch on film every week because we play similar opponents, and there's some throws you just kind of shake your head because they're that special. And so I understand it'll be a great challenge for us as a team to go up against the Chargers and the talent that they have over there. And so how can we match that intensity? How can we match that talent and go out there and win a football game is what we have to focus on.
Love the mutual respect, as Mahomes has plenty of praise for Herbert, but it's the Chiefs quarterback that's been lighting up defenses again this season, especially when they bring the blitz. Mahomes ranks top 5 in QBR and first down rate when teams send extra pass rushers, and has thrown a league-high 11 touchdowns without a single pick against the blitz in 2022. That's something we could have taken advantage of again on Sunday night, as the Chargers defense has the 9th highest blitz percentage rate in the NFL this season. All right, Swaggy, let's talk about how the Chargers, who I thought had a masterful game plan last Sunday night against the 49ers, can face off and maybe find a way to slow down a little bit Patrick Mahomes.
I think, it's not necessarily about what they did last week, because you're playing a totally different animal. You're playing a guy who can move in Patrick Mahomes, someone who's shown now I can beat you with my feet if you're trying to bring extra rushers and you play man on the back end. I'm not asking for Brandon Staley and the Los Angeles Chargers to totally go away from who they are, but we know they love to bring Derwin James as the extra man, but what about Travis Kelce? So I believe that when you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, it's not necessarily just about beating Patrick Mahomes, it's about beating the other 10 players on the football field, which is the way we had to attack Tom Brady at some points. So I think it's about mixing it up, bringing Derwin James, allowing him to play man-to-man, sometimes bringing 4. So I have 7 with the eyes on Patrick Mahomes, and then picking the right times to blitz, where now I can overwhelm the protection, or get one-on-ones in the spots that I want him to. This is going to be a masterful chess match when you're trying to attack Patrick Mahomes, because if he knows what you're doing, he is going to eat your face. And I think everybody in the NFL understands that now, and you also can't pinpoint where they're going with the ball. So this is going to have to take some work in setting up, but also in executing if you want to beat a Patrick Mahomes that is playing at the top of his game.
Well, Justin Herbert may have some reinforcements on the way, as Keenan Allen and Mike Williams both participated in practice fully on Friday. They're both listed as questionable to play. Brandon Staley calling Keenan Allen a game-time decision. Meanwhile, Mike Williams told our Lindsey Theory his ankle is 200%. Make of that what you will, but perhaps we'll have at least one of them on the field on Sunday night. Mina, how critical is it having these two difference-making wide receivers?
It's massive. I'll throw in another name, by the way. Trey Pipkins, who's starting right tackle, might return for this game. That's something to keep an eye on, because last week against San Francisco, as you said, I loved what they did on defense with LA. I thought the game plan was brilliant, but on offense, they simply couldn't do anything. And it's really hard to call an offense when you're down to your backup tackles and your backup wide receivers. But I still felt, even with that said, they were a little bit too conservative. The second half on early downs, the Chargers averaged 2.3 yards per play. It's one thing to say, well, we want to run the ball because we can't protect your quarterback, but ultimately what you're doing is you're just putting your quarterback in thirds and longs. So my hope is, with the return of one or both of these wide receivers, Joe Lombardi, their offensive coordinator, calls this game a little bit more aggressively, because you got to be aggressive if you want to go up against Kansas City.
Glad you went to aggressive, and aggressive doesn't mean bombs away down the field. It also means using Justin Herbert elite skill set as far as a physical specimen in his legs. And look, I know he was dealing with the rib injury, but get him on the move. Put some nuance into the way that Justin Herbert plays the game. Give him different launch points. And if he sees man-to-man coverage, tell him, hey, Justin, take off, man. Go get us 10, 15 yards on some of these critical situations that you'll be in. The dude is fast. We talk about his arm and we go crazy and we lament about it, as we should, because it is a howitzer on the side of his right shoulder. But ultimately, he's a super athlete. as well. And I think that gets lost with the way that this offense is called at times, Mina, to your point, as far as being conservative. Yes, getting Keenan Allen is back. Getting him back potentially is great. Yes, getting Mike Williams back is great. But ultimately, you don't own the full totality of this offense. And you are not as explosive, Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers, if you don't involve Justin Herbert's legs. So somehow, some way, I hope they start to utilize that, which can make this offense as unguardable as anybody else in the NFL.
Man, I don't care if he's using his legs, his arms, whatever it is. Let him be special. Think about the first time these two teams met when you didn't have Keenan Allen and it was just Mike Williams and you had one-on-one. Yeah. And every time he had one-on-ones, he took advantage of it because he could drop the football on any number that he wants to. We were talking about it on the production call last week against San Francisco, bro. He's on the move, he's on the run, and he's throwing balls that I'm sitting at home going, no, no, holy hell, that got in. That's who Justin Herbert is. And it's very few people in the world, and y'all know this, guys, it's very few times in football that you walk into a stadium when you're facing Patrick Mahomes and you say, you know what, my dude is equally as stupid as their dude. It doesn't happen often. But with Justin Herbert, it's true. So let him play. Let him go do it. Like, you are falling into a place where you may play yourself out of the playoffs. The only way to stay in there is if 10 uses his legs, if 10 uses his arms, and he's freakishly talented. So use him in a way where we put that on display, playing the other freakishly talented dude on the opposite sideline.
Yeah, I got to make sure the masses out there, because I'm sort of the dummy that thought stupid meant bad. No, stupid means good in this context there. Stupid is in like stupid good Justin Herbert. Hey, by the way, the Chiefs, no Juju Smith-Schuster on Sunday night. Could see a lot of Kadarius Toney. How good has he looked in just a very small glimpse of action for the Chiefs? We're all taking Kansas City to go on the road and win this game, scoring at least 28 points in all of our picks. Coming up on NFL Live, we are not done. Some would think when it comes to rushing the passer, the Cowboys, Micah Parsons would be a quick study. But could the crash course in how to actually slow him down? RC will explain that. You're watching NFL Live. You already know this crew, left to right. Ryan Clark, Mina Kimes, Marcus Spears. Kind of got like a mustard vibe today for both the LSU guys. Mina, of course, always keeping it classy in the middle. Look at you, Swagoo, shaking them shoulders. We're going to start in Lambeau Field because that game last night belonged to the Titans. And how about Derrick Henry? But before we get to Derrick Henry, he is the king of the North, of course. You see this game and you're thinking to yourself, it's going to be a Derrick Henry game early, right? Well, it was, except for the fact that Dontrell Hilliard comes in for a play, 14-yard touchdown from Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill played his best game of the season, but the Packers battle back. End of the first quarter, heads-up play here by Aaron Rodgers. Packers catch them, the Titans, trying to sub in on defense. Rodgers knows it's a free play, throws it up to rookie Christian Watson. He's been red hot of late. And then, not too long later, Derrick Henry doing what Derrick Henry does. 4 yards out, he muscles his way in for the score. Tackling him on a cold night feels like a really, really tough business decision to have to make. And then Derrick Henry is like, I'm so good at running the ball that I'm going to throw it too. The okey doke, the Tim Tebow jump pass by a running back who weighs 240 pounds, wearing the dark visor in the night. Packers battling back those. Aaron Rodgers, once again, Christian Watson on that D crosser. He's got 5 touchdowns in the past 2 games. You think to yourself, wow, here come the Packers. 2-point try. It's good. Aaron Jones, he was awesome again for the Packers last night as a receiver, but the Titans just proved too much down the stretch. Look at this dart. Ryan Tannehill to Austin Hooper between 2 defenders. Soft hands by Hooper. 333 passing yards for Ryan Tannehill last night. You're thinking to yourself, this one might be over, and, well, this play was the one that did it in as Aaron Jones stuffed on 4th and 1. Mike Vrabel, the always tough Titans, get the W in Lambeau Field.
Felt great, man. I got 2 of them now, so that's 3? I thought it was 2. Damn. I call myself a young Peyton Manning, so it felt good, and I was happy Hoop caught it and we were able to score.
I'm not going to make excuses about my thumb. It's been the same since New York. I just didn't have the same type of consistent grip and ball coming out the same way. I threw a lot of kind of wobblers tonight, so just missed a few throws I should have had.
It's when you get booed, what's it like hearing those? Not you personally, but as a group.
Interesting. best I can give you.
Interesting indeed. Derrick Henry, let's talk about him a little bit more. He has consistently showed up on the road in his career. Last night marked his 5th straight game with 100-plus scrimmage yards and a rushing touchdown on the road. That ties the longest streak in a single season in the Super Bowl era. There have been only 6 players to achieve that feat since 1966. Henry is the only player to do it twice. All right, so Mina, this felt to me like a signature and frankly just a classic typical Titans win. Do you have more confidence in their deep playoff run chances after what we saw last night?
I actually do, Field. You know,
Yeah.
the Titans have been winning thus far this season largely on the strength of their defense. And last night, the offense came to the party. It showed up on their very first drive. The Packers were in cover 2. They spun Darnell Savage down. Tannehill saw that he had a one-on-one with Treylon Burks, and he took advantage of it. And this was a theme throughout the night. The Packers playing single high, and Tannehill showing a willingness to attack through the air. This is massive for the Titans, brother, because teams know that they want to run the ball, and if they're also afraid of them through the air, suddenly they're more balanced on offense, and it gives me a lot more confidence in their ability to make a playoff run.
Listen, I love Mina Kimes. I think Mina Kimes is the smartest human that does football.
True.
And normally we don't disagree. That's why I hate our production call. I'm like, oh yeah, I think that too, Mina. And then we bounce things back. But finally we disagree. Listen, Treylon Burks made some plays last night, but also CeeDee Lamb finally looked like a #1 receiver against the Green Bay Packers last week. And last year they actually had A.J. Brown, who I believe is better than Treylon Burks. And so when you look at this team, they've been a good regular season team. They've been a team that can play defense. They've been a team that has been able to run the ball. They've been a team that has somehow found some way to create a passing game, whether it be A.J. Brown or last night Treylon Burks. This does not make me believe in the Tennessee Titans any more than I believed in them the week before. I think Mike Vrabel is a guy that can coach, a guy that can motivate, and he will always have his team ready to play. But in the end, it's going to come down to 17 making more plays than 17 that plays in Buffalo. Don't believe that. Then 15 that plays in Kansas City. Don't believe that. Then 1 that plays in Miami. 8 that plays in Baltimore. So in the end, it'll be a great regular season. They will do very well in the AFC South, and they will all be with us sitting around in Glendale doing TV for Old Spice or whoever sends them around to our studio set sometimes in Arizona, because they will not be in the playoffs.
Oh my God. Okay, I think everything you said is fair, particularly noting the caveat that the Green Bay defense is hardly what we thought they would be coming into the season. Ultimately, Ryan, it does come down to 17. You're right. The last time we saw Tannehill in the playoffs, he lost them the game. And I think that, to me, seeing him play so well in this game, I am encouraged by it because it's the best he has looked all season. The question, as you fairly posit, is whether he can actually string together several of these games, especially when it counts.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, y'all, listen, I don't know about the playoffs. I just know that yesterday when we were talking about this game, I said something. So let's bring it up.
What'd you say?
What'd you?
It's going to take a few third down conversions in this game as well. And that is what I think cost them against the Kansas City Chiefs. When they needed to just keep extending drives, they couldn't do it and had to get off the football. We know Derrick Henry is going to get his touches. We know what this offense wants to do. They want to bludgeon you at the center of the line of scrimmage with those double teams and those ISO blocks and make you play them over and over again. But I really believe this is going to fall on a few third downs in this game that are going to be huge for Tannehill and these receivers to try to convert.
The man's calling his own shot.
I mean, no, listen.
Okay. I just want to say, don't ever let Dan Darnolowski do what you just did, because he will do it literally every week. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, he'll do it every week. He'll do it every week, MK, and you're absolutely right. Now, the only reason why I thought that was poignant is because of the conversation that you and RC just came off. RC, this is all they may have to do. Like, when you think about the Tennessee Titans, even going back to when they make the playoffs, when they get into playoff games, it is usually, to your point, 17. No, we don't trust them beyond Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen. But based on the trends of where this league has gone this year, it really is chances for teams, I believe, like the Tennessee Titans, because of the run game being back re-implemented and those critical third downs. If you remember Dallas last week, I went in on the defense and talked about how bad they were. But I also believe that if Dak and that offense could have stayed on the field and converted a few, they would have had a chance to win that game. By no means am I saying that the Green Bay Packers are world beaters. But I go back to when Tennessee played Kansas City and Malik Willis couldn't convert third downs. They may have got Kansas City in that game. So it is a little glimmer of hope for the Tennessee Titans if they are able to keep these games going in this vein when they push into playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see what happens come January, but I'm not sure any team knows its identity and buys into its identity in the same way that the Tennessee Titans do. Let's go to the Green Bay side here, RC, as Aaron Rodgers had an interesting answer when he described the boos at Lambeau Field as interesting. How much of this loss do you believe is on the shoulders of Aaron Rodgers?
All of it. The defense stinks. We knew the defense stinks. That's not new. Yeah. Right? Matt LaFleur is actually being creative in the run game. Sammy Watkins is as open as I am now, and he missed him on third down. Alan Lazard is more open than I am now, and he missed him on third down. And he admitted it. To his credit, Aaron Rodgers said, I got to make those throws, and he just didn't. And for so long this offseason, we listened to him blame everybody else around him as to why this team wasn't playing well. He knew, we knew, the fans knew that last night that came down to him. And what we always believed was if they could play well enough to make it come down to him, then they'd win. Now we know that that ain't true either. So where do you look? Do you look left? Do you look right? Do you look straight ahead? I mean, no matter where you look, this team as a whole is going to be at home. And this would probably be the last day we talk about him unless he just says something funny on Tuesday.
Yeah, well, Aaron, I will say this. I will tell you one thing, Ryan. As Aaron noted after the game last night, if you do look ahead, like you just suggested, the next team on the schedule, the Philadelphia Eagles, who are the last undefeated team remaining until this past Monday night in the NFL this season. To more serious news, as early this morning, just hours after the Titans arrived back from Green Bay, offensive coordinator Todd Downing was arrested in Nashville on charges of driving under the influence and speeding, that according to Tennessee Highway Patrol. The intake took place at 4:36, and about 2 hours later, Downing posted bond of $2,500. The Titans released a statement saying they are gathering more information into the matter, while the league office has been in touch with the organization on the matter as well. More to come on NFL Live. Will Justin Fields have yet another monstrous game against the Falcons' run defense? Here if Mina thinks he and the Bears will prevail. Plus, Zach Wilson is going to have to put on the Jets Sunday against the Patriots and their dominant defense. Hear why the